Hey, what's up guys? It's Crazy Boy Aaron, and yeah, I've been gone for over a month, and I'm sorry about that, but I've been working on this video for like so long. So yeah, today I'm going to be showing you my all 15 books I read in 2019, ranked. Yeah, I told you guys I was going to do this video, so without further ado,
let's just jump into it.
So number 15, my least favorite book this year, Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid. Yes, Raleigh Jefferson's Journal was the worst book I read this year. My main issue with this book, my main problem, is that Greg is just such an unlikable character. You'd think the book would be interesting. I mean, it's about the relationship between Greg and Raleigh, but it's really just annoying, the things Greg does to Raleigh. He's honestly just a straight up dick in this book. The thing is, Jeff Kinney is trying so hard to make Greg funny in this book, and it fails every time. It's not funny, it's not well written, and not only is this the worst book in the franchise, it's the worst book I read in 2019. Number 14 is The Babysitter's Club 7, Boy Crazy Stacy. This book was honestly just a giant disappointment. It's easily the worst in the BSC series. Just like Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid, Stacy is just such an unlikable character. Okay, I don't care how hot this guy is. Watching the kid should be your #1 priority, especially if they're playing in water. Once again, Gail Galligan's art is really good. I love her art style, but unfortunately, it doesn't save this book. Number 13 is Diary. Now, I didn't review this book when it came out because it's not really a book you can review. It's one of those DIY books, and yeah, but I got it because it's part of the Berrybrook Middle School trilogy. It's not part of the trilogy, but it's part of that franchise, so I got it because I'm a fan of those books. And there are some really interesting short stories in here that I'd absolutely recommend. If you are a fan of this trilogy, then I would pick up this book just to read the short stories in it. Number 12 is Share Your Smile. This is a book written by Raina Telgemeier, and it's about the making of how she makes her books, and I really enjoyed it. It's also a DIY book. Raina guides the reader on how to make their own stories and illustrations. And yeah, I liked this more than Diary just because it had more to offer in terms of content. Number 11, Spider-Man Kraven's Last Hunt. Yet another Spider-Man book, and just like the other Spider-Man books I talked about, it's based off of a story from the comic Kraven's Last Hunt by J.M. DeMatteis, and this is like the other ones where I don't find it necessary to adapt if you're not going to change anything. It's pretty much note for note like the comics, so I just don't recommend getting it because I would much rather recommend the actual graphic novel it was based on. Yeah, if you haven't read Kraven's Last Hunt and you are a Spider-Man fan, what are you doing? Go read it right now. Okay, so I had to slightly change the lighting. I closed my blinds a little bit, so hopefully this is better. Number 10 is New Kid. Now, New Kid was a book that was praised when it came out, but as you guys know, I didn't really like it that much. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely not a terrible book. It has some good things in it. There are some fantastic and really interesting setups, but overall I didn't really like Jordan's story. I didn't find it to be all that interesting. I still do recommend that you check it out because there is some good things in it, and I'm in the minority of not liking it, so you might like it. Number 9 is The Misadventures of Max Crumbly 3, Masters of Mischief. So this had some good things and interesting concepts in it, but overall I just didn't find it to be all that interesting. The majority of the book, I mean. It basically is your typical Max Crumbly book, and so I didn't really like it because it didn't do anything we haven't already seen. It didn't do anything game-changing, and I'm not saying that all the books have to do something different. I'm just saying, don't just do the same thing over and over again. Like, this really wasn't that different compared, like, from the last two books in the series. So it was just kind of bland. It's probably the worst Max Crumley book. And it's probably one of the worst in the Dork Diaries franchise overall. But it's not horrible, it's just not that good. Number 8 is Click. Click was a book that I had problems with, but overall I thought it was a pretty good book. My main problem was the lack of character development other than Olivia. But other than that, it's a pretty well-written book about Olivia trying to see where she fits in. And it's like I said, it's really well written, and I would recommend it. Number 7 is Camp. So Camp is, of course, the sequel to Click. And I was a bit skeptical because there is a 4-month gap between the last book and this book. So there wasn't really a lot of time spent working on it, so I was a bit kind of skeptical and thought that this would be just a really bad rush job. But I was actually really surprised to see that it was a little bit better than Click. It actually improves on some aspects of Click, in fact. It's better with character development. Yeah, it's just all around better than Click. It does a better job telling its story and had a better story to tell. Number 6, Dork Diaries 14, Tales from a Not-So-Best Friend Forever. So I was actually surprised at how good this book actually was. It's not one of the great Dork Diaries books, but it's certainly one of the better books I read this year. Mainly revolves around Nikki going on tour with the Bad Boys, and she actually meets them and becomes good friends with them. I thought this was a pretty good book. It had some problems. It's not great. It had a lot of wasted potential that I was disappointed with, and the constant quizzes about the Bad Boys that you have to read about is kind of annoying. But other than that, it was good. Number 5 is Sunny Rolls the Dice. This is a really good story about what happens when you and your childhood friend start disagreeing on things and eventually you split apart. And I really like the story because it really happens to a lot of us. It's happened to me. And Sunny finds herself in that situation. Her and her friend just aren't agreeing on things and don't share the same interests as they grow up. And I just thought that was a really, really great story to tell. And this was a really great book. Number 4 is Diary of a Wimpy Kid 14, Wrecking Ball. I am extremely surprised and happy to say that Wimpy Kid is actually number 4 on my list. I haven't liked a Wimpy Kid book this much since The Long Haul. I loved the idea of house renovation and moving and how stressful and difficult it can be. And I loved every second of this book. Like, it was really, really great. It's not perfect, obviously, but it is a damn good Wimpy Kid book, and it's something that I haven't seen in a while. And it actually made me laugh consistently, which is like the first time that that's happened since Dog Days. So yeah, good job. Number 3 is Just Jamie. This is another book about losing your friends because you disagree with things. And it's a very similar concept to Sunny Rolls the Dice. It's really up to your personal preference which one you prefer. For me, I prefer this one just because it went more in depth with it and did a better job telling the story. It does have some minor problems, and I'd have to say it's probably my least favorite in the trilogy, but it's still like a really great book. That doesn't stop it from being good. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. Now, number 2 is Guts by Raina Telgemeier. But I actually don't have the book on me right now because I lended it to a friend. Yeah, I don't have it with me, but Guts is, of course, the latest book by Raina Telgemeier, and I loved it. It was really, really well written. The book is about anxiety and what that can do to someone, and it's also about how stress can affect someone, and I think Raina handled it really well. The art is also really great. It's very creative, which is something that I wasn't expecting. And number one, my favorite book of 2019 is Best Friends. Yes, this is the sequel to my favorite book of 2017. Best Friends just continues off of the amazing story that Real Friends gave us. See, Real Friends was about finding who your true friends are, whereas Best Friends is about once you have those friends, do you actually get along with them, and are they actually good friends? And I really like the concept of these two books, and I love how the sequel continues off of the first one and just does it so well. It's such a good continuation, and for me, this is probably my favorite sequel book of all time. My favorite book sequel. It's just written so incredibly well. It's written well, it's very relatable, the art is great, and yeah, this is my favorite book sequel, and one of my favorite books, period, and my favorite book of 2019. This is such a great book. I would recommend this and the first book, Real Friends. So that was my ranking of all the books I read this year. Let me know what your favorite book of 2019 was. But yeah, the 2010s are coming to an end. It's almost 2020. I'm not sure when this video is going to go up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I don't have too much to say in regards to what's going to be happening in 2020. I'm not going to do one of those videos about, like, what's happening in 2020. But I will say I'm going to try to do more stuff other than reviews. I say try, keyword. I already have 3 videos planned so far, and one of them is a movie shelf, kind of look at my movie shelf. So yeah, that's going to be coming in the new year, and also 2 other really big videos that are going to take a while are coming in the new year. I don't know when. But yeah, thanks for watching my videos throughout the 2010s and 2019. Yeah, I look forward to making more videos.